With all the talk surrounding Habs training camp, a few other Habs prospects not there are off to really hot starts, including Michael Hage. In his first game with the University of Michigan, gets a
Wow.
couple of nasty primary assists, including this beautiful cross-ice pass for the one-timer. 2 assists in his first game. He was the highest freshman in the entire lineup, playing the second-line center, and he was their quarterback on the power play, bringing the puck in just like Nick Suzuki. We got to get into that, but it's not only him, Jesse. It's also Tyler Thorpe, the Thorpeinator, the Torpedo. We love getting a secondary assist on the first goal of the game for Vancouver. He starts laying the body as well, as he's up to 5 points in 4 games. This almost a beautiful goal, but he tops it off with this amazing pass out front. We got to get into all that. Plus, a little note on the Habs power play is it's a point of contention that's getting talked about kind of all over Habs social media. So we're going to get into all that coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. And we're going to start with the power play, Jesse. And look, we know it has to change, but let's not stay too negative about this, because we know Coach Marty is going to make the changes he needs to make. And again, like we said, this is a hot topic, including the Montreal Gazette posting an article just today talking about it, saying, can Marty St. Louis finally fix the Canadiens' power play? And Chris Nyland and Rick Green go into it. We're not going to get into that video specifically, but this is kind of what served to finally get us to talk about this for now, Jesse. And over the last 10 years, Montreal has the worst power play percentage in the NHL at 17%, a whole 0.7%, almost a full percentage point below second worst in Anaheim. Now, Jesse, with Marty St. Louis in full charge of the power play this year instead of Alex Burrows, do you foresee some big changes coming? I know in the preseason we haven't really seen him yet, but I have some pretty high hopes that Marty is going to try some unconventional stuff, especially when we get Patrik Laine back in the lineup.
I expect to see big changes, and we want to see big changes because we know we really need to fix our power play in order to win more games. As we're seeing going over 10 years at that averaging around that 17%, this needs to improve. So this really needs to be front and center for Martin St. Louis this season. Josh, and I've kind of changed my point of view on how Martin St. Louis kind of spreading the love on those 2 power play units. Like how I feel right now is that Patrik Laine needs to be on the first power play
100%.
unit. Now, maybe this is just because I'm a little bit salty because he got injured when he was playing the PP2. And I was just like, oh, if he was on PP1, this just never would have happened. Of course, we never want to play that shoulda, coulda, woulda game. But doesn't it make sense, to just make sure that we're getting one unit that's really focused, really working first and clicking? Obviously, your best sniper, the person that's had scored the most goals so far in the NHL, you want that guy in your PP1. First, get that first unit clicking, then work on, great. If you can have a second unit that's doing well, that's great. But that's just the cherry on top. So I really think that they should be concentrating their firepower, their 5 best, players that give them a chance to score in that power play absolutely need to be iced. But that being said, we can't judge this before the regular season because it is just a completely different beast. That's when we'll have the true indicator of all of this. And especially not just with the regular season, but with, Alex Burrows, kind of stepping away for family reasons. Now Marty in full. Now we can really kind of judge him. And this is a brave move on him because this has been a point of contention historically for years now. So it is brave on Martin St. Louis in a way because let's face it, there's going to be more pressure on him if this season kind of goes on and the power play is not clicking as it should. For sure, you could say that it can hurt our power play early on, the fact of having Patrik Laine not here. I would argue he's a huge reason why he came on this team. It's not just the goal scoring, but also for the power play. But again, we got a lot of young guys that are going to look to step up for sure. But the pressure is going to be on, and he definitely needs to make this a focal point for this team this year.
Now that the expectations, the expectations kind of weren't there the past few years, just development. If those results don't start coming soon, we've said this before, the pressure is going to start mounting and mounting and mounting. And by no means is Marty St. Louis' job in jeopardy at all, even in the slightest. This dude is a phenomenal coach. He is the perfect guy to lead this team. But you will start seeing some expectations start to rise. If the power play doesn't click this year, I would fully expect Montreal to go on a hunt for a top-tier power play coach as well. Marty can't do it all, so we'll have to wait and see, but I want to hear what you guys think about the Habs power play. Will there even be a significant difference with Marty fully in charge this year? He was still kind of the final say guy last year, so we'd love to hear from you down below. But Jesse, we're going to move into some of these Habs prospects just to get into them here. And Tyler Thorpe, I love Tyler Thorpe. I think a lot of fans love Tyler Thorpe. I know we all like him here at Habs Digest and all in the comments section because this guy, knows how to use his body, and he has a phenomenal shot. And he's been putting that on display. Now, he does only have 1 goal in 4 games so far, but this little nice play, little poke to get I think it was actually maybe a primary assist, but he's still laying the body. Probably could have crushed that guy even harder, but let off a bit. This here, the spin into a near snipe was phenomenal, and just the situational awareness. Nice little saucer to get it over the defender's stick. Jesse, there's not a whole lot to say right now about Tyler Thorpe that I guess we haven't already said, but right now, again, the projected is simply just multiplying his total numbers by the amount of games left, so it's just math. But 85 total points. He's getting some penalty minutes as well, so you know, he could maybe lay off that, but at the same time, Jesse, using his body, still finishing his checks. His shot looks really, really good. Every single time he takes a shot, it genuinely looks dangerous. And he only has 1 goal in 4 games. He could at least have 2 or 3. And his passing has been really impressive as well. I've been really liking what I've seen from him so far. And if he continues this way, I mean, you never really know. When big guys kind of get that skill to click, it's hard to find other guys like that.
And this isn't just like a flash in the pan anymore. Like, we've seen a couple solid performances now from Tyler Thorpe, you know, and even though he's getting a little bit more of those penalty minutes, that's not always such a bad thing, right? Like, coaches, you know, as they see these young players come to the NHL, they take that as like, this is somebody that's implicated in the game. And for sure, like, kind of mixing it up after the whistle, you know, being physical, that's a part of his game as well. And you could say he kind of almost fits a little bit of that, you know, kind of that, a little bit more of that bully mentality that the Habs are going for, just playing a little bit of a rougher brand of hockey, which I think is so important, not just for in the regular season, but obviously in the playoffs. So we see that this is a player that's got an amazing shot, you know, plays a hard game, and, you know, really could be a player that could fit a good 4th line profile for us in the future.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And not every prospect needs to be this top-end guy, right? And there's value in prospects outside the NHL. As much as we talk about the NHL, we focus on it, Jesse. Like, we talk about him next year, maybe he ends up in Laval or something. That's something really valuable. And Laval is stocking up on these players too. You got Florian Xhekaj, you got Luke Tuck, and now you imagine you bring in a guy like Tyler Thorpe, who not only has the size, some of this physical ability, starting to get into more scrums, for him to also add that kind of higher level shot. That's a really solid AHL player at the very least, and a guy, like you said, that you could call up for certain situations. So all in all, pretty impressed with Tyler Thorpe. But we're going to quickly move on, because there's one guy that we want to talk about more than Tyler Thorpe, and that's Michael Hage, because, oh my gosh, I just love to see this. I'm so happy that hockey is back for Michael Hage. And by the way, guys, all these highlights, I'm going to link down below. Full credit to Habs Prospect Videos. Go watch the full highlight packages down below, because they put together all kinds of amazing stuff. And please go subscribe to them, all this stuff. We've shout them out all the time on the channel because they do amazing work. But we're going to get into Michael Hage, and you absolutely love to see this. I'm going to play this again, Jesse. There was a toe drag I actually didn't even include in this because there were so many highlights I had to cut it down. But this right here, he is that guy bringing the puck in on the power play, just like Suzuki, winning board battles, making great passes along the boards. Not to, by the way, that was a sick shot from Whitelaw to finish that off in the power play. But Michael Hage is just doing everything right, and I thought he looked so impressive. This was the most impressive pass to me. Like, there's a tiny window to make that play, and he did it, Jesse. He looked like a great skater. He looked like a solid decision maker, and, well, for a freshman, a guy in his first year in the NCAA, for sure a solid decision maker. His shot, again, maybe we'll see that improve a little bit, but still, like, all the same, he looked like a very complete player. There's a reason he was the second line center and that kind of guy bringing it into the zone on the power play in his first ever NCAA game, because he's mature, because he has an incredible skill set.
This is quite an impressive debut from, obviously, from the young prospect Hage, like in this game, like for 2 points in the NCAA, like this guy can skate, he can score. He was being relied upon so heavily in this game, second line center, but again, carrying the puck, looking so smooth, this guy. Like, I know we're talking about the power play getting better, you know, it's like, but I think we can't just wait for Demidov and Hage, but are they ever exciting? Because this guy, even on the power play, you could tell they're going for him. And again, you know, when the assist that he created, first he's winning a puck battle, but it's basically all him. He's running a give and go. And then to have the vision to really find that crossing pass, again, you know, another beautiful assist on the rush, which he really fit the kind of fast game that the Montreal Canadiens want to play. And that toe drag shot that he had on the power play, absolutely unreal. Like, Hage is really impressing me quite a bit. We wanted to bring a little bit more of that skill, a little bit more of even that exciting brand of hockey. Like, objectively, this is a fan of the game. You gotta love what Michael Hage is bringing to the table here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, he looked like a pro in that first game. And, you know, I've seen people nitpicking some of the things he didn't do great, whatever. Again, like I said, you're playing second line center. Look at this forward group, okay? There are 2 freshmen in the entire freshmen, I guess. That's a tough one. I don't know. But there's two of them in the forward group, and it's Michael Hage, the second line center, and Christian Humphreys, the Colorado Avalanche draft pick, the third line center. Every other player is at least a sophomore or plus. And this is like not a super amazing team, but very skilled, right? Like you got some guys who have had some really, really good college seasons before. The first line looks good. And even Hage's line mates, Jesse, had very solid years last year. I believe both of them were in the 20s or 30s in terms of points. I don't quite remember, but he's going to be playing with a lot of different guys for sure, rolling up to the game in style. I'm going to show that again because it was really cool. But all the same, Michael Hage, fantastic debut. Just wanted to share this stuff with you guys because it's always fun to talk about the prospects we don't get to see every day. Let us know your thoughts on them down below because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 15K and we're almost there. So if you're part of the 250 people that haven't hit the button that we need to hit 15K, I'd really appreciate if you did it right now. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.